Do you know the love languages your cat actually expects from you? Not the ones humans assume are loving, but the quiet, specific ways your cat wants to receive affection. Most owners miss them, and when that happens, your cat doesn't just feel confused, they feel rejected. It's one of the most emotionally loaded things your cat can do. And if you respond the wrong way, which most owners do, you might quietly break the trust they were trying to offer. Let's start with the first one. 7. Touch, but on their terms. Have you ever pet your cat only for them to suddenly pull away? It's not random. Physical touch is a love language for cats, but only when they're the ones initiating it. Most owners make the mistake of offering affection the way humans give it, constantly reaching out for cuddles, forehead kisses, or belly rubs. But to a cat, that can feel invasive. When a cat leans their body against yours, places a paw on you, or settles into your lap uninvited, that's their way of saying, "I trust you." It's an earned moment, and if you start petting them too soon or in the wrong spot, you might unknowingly shut down the connection they were just starting to build. What makes this even more misunderstood is that cats can tolerate affection they didn't ask for, especially if they love you. But that tolerance isn't the same as desire. Over time, they start to associate you with unpredictability instead of safety. Here's something only the most attuned owners notice. When a cat's tail starts flicking while being pet, even if everything else seems calm, it's often their way of saying, "That's enough." Ignore that cue, and you might slowly teach your cat to avoid intimacy altogether. And later in the video, I'll talk about a subtle daily ritual that can actually retrain your cat to want more physical closeness with you, even if they've always seemed aloof. 6. Vocal affirmations. Do you talk to your cat like they understand you or like they don't? Because here's the truth, they do. Not your exact words, but your rhythm, your tone, your emotion. And over time, your voice becomes one of the most important emotional signals in your cat's world. If you raise your voice, even jokingly, your cat picks up on the tension. If you speak in short, abrupt bursts, they may interpret it as agitation. But when you use a calm, consistent tone, especially paired with certain phrases, your voice becomes a source of safety. Many cats recognize patterns in speech, not just names or commands, but entire moods. That soft, "good morning," or "hi baby," you say each day. To them, it's not background noise, it's emotional anchoring. And here's where most owners go wrong. They only speak to their cat when giving orders, correcting behavior, or calling them over. But if you're not also using your voice during quiet moments, when you're close, not needing anything, then your cat may associate your words with demand instead of affection. Want to take it further? Try this. When your cat is relaxed and near you, say their name slowly, followed by a phrase you always use in calm moments. Over time, this builds a vocal ritual, and that ritual becomes a love language. And hey, before we move to the next one, make sure to hit like and subscribe so we can get this video to more people who love their cats as much as you do. 5. Quality time without contact. Can you spend time with your cat without ever touching them? For most people, that sounds pointless, but to a cat, it's everything. Proximity without pressure is one of the purest forms of trust in feline psychology. When your cat sits across the room while you work or curls up near you without making contact, they're not being distant. They're showing you love in their own language, the language of presence. Unlike dogs, who often seek physical closeness, cats value what behaviorists call shared space. And here's the mistake nearly every owner makes. They interpret distance as disinterest. So they try to close the gap by calling, petting, or picking the cat up. But that move can backfire. Instead of feeling closer, the cat feels invaded. What builds trust is the opposite. It's letting your cat choose the closeness and allowing them to simply exist near you without interruption. That shared silence becomes a sacred ritual over time. It tells your cat, "I see you, I accept you, and I don't need to control you." One of the most emotionally impactful things you can do is sit in a room, do your thing, and let your cat do theirs with no pressure. After a few days of this, many cats will start closing the distance on their own. 4. Gifts that don't look like gifts. Why does your cat bring you things you never asked for, like a dead bug or a crumpled sock? It's not random, it's gifting. And in their world, it means something deeper than most people realize. Cats are hunters, providers. In the wild, they show loyalty to their group by sharing resources. When your cat brings you something, they're not just being weird. They're offering you value. They're saying, "You're part of my circle. I care for you." And this doesn't stop with physical objects. Sometimes the gift is an action, sitting in your favorite chair, blocking your laptop, or meowing in front of the fridge. It's not attention seeking. It's an offering in disguise. Your cat is trying to engage with you in a way they understand. But here's where most people go wrong. They react with disgust or frustration. They shoo the cat away, or they ignore it entirely. From your cat's perspective, that's a rejection of the connection they just tried to create. So what's the right response? Acknowledge the gift. Say their name, soften your tone, and thank them even if it's sarcastic. That's how you reciprocate love in their language. 3. Respecting their sacred spaces. Have you ever cleaned your cat's favorite spot only to find they stopped using it afterward? That's not a coincidence, that's heartbreak. Because to a cat, certain spaces aren't just comfortable, they're sacred. Cats are territorial, but not in the way most people think. It's not about dominance, it's about emotional safety. When your cat repeatedly chooses a specific window ledge, blanket, or corner of the couch, they're not just picking a spot, they're building a ritual of trust. And most owners unintentionally destroy it. They rearrange the furniture, they wash the blanket that smelled gross. They vacuum the space just before the cat's usual nap time. In our world, it's cleaning. In theirs, it's erasure. This breaks more than comfort. It breaks emotional consistency. And once that's gone, many cats retreat. They stop showing up in shared spaces. They get quiet. Some even become more aggressive, not because they're mad, but because they're suddenly insecure. Want to know the invisible cue your cat gives when they want you to stop touching them? This is where we close that loop. Watch the tail. Even if their body is still, a slowly flicking or twitching tail, especially the tip, means I've had enough. It's subtle, and most owners miss it. But if you notice and pull back in that moment, your cat will begin to trust you more. 2. Acts of service, feline edition. What if your cat judged your love by the little chores you do? Because in their world, that's exactly what's happening. The clean water bowl, the freshly scooped litter box, the blanket fluffed back into place. These aren't background tasks. They're silent love letters. Cats may be independent, but they're deeply observant. They notice when their environment is cared for, and they associate those small, quiet acts with safety, attention, and belonging. It's not about being pampered. It's about being seen. Here's the mistake most people make. They assume cats don't care, so they clean on a schedule that's convenient, not consistent. They fill the food bowl when it's empty, but not before. They wait for signs of discomfort before trimming nails, clearing fur from the windowsill, or adjusting the heating pad. But cats remember the pattern, and when you start offering acts of service before they ask, something shifts. They begin to anticipate care instead of chasing it. That builds a deeper layer of trust. One of the most powerful things you can do? Prepare a cozy spot for your cat in advance, a fresh towel in their favorite sunbeam, or a heating pad turned on before they arrive. Even if they don't use it that day, the gesture registers. 1. Rituals, not randomness. Why does your cat seem to appear at the same time every day, even when you don't call them? Because love, to a cat, is not just a feeling. It's a rhythm, a ritual, a repeated pattern that tells them their world is safe, stable, and full of connection. Cats thrive on consistency. It's how they measure trust. If you feed them at the same time, greet them with the same tone, or follow a bedtime routine they recognize, those rituals become emotional anchors. They aren't habits to your cat. They're vows. Most owners don't realize how deeply this matters. They change schedules frequently. They miss the morning interaction or feed later without thinking. And little by little, the cat begins to detach. Not because they're mad, but because they no longer feel sure of the bond. Here's what changes everything. Build micro rituals. Say the same phrase when you leave. Use the same motion when you offer a treat. Even brushing them at the same time each day can become a moment of shared connection. Your cat starts to anticipate your love and trust it will return.